Yo, we're back with another one.
Let's get into it.
Easter Island.
Oh man, Easter Island. I've been trying to go to Easter Island for the last 10 years.
Can't get in?
Nobody's gonna get in now because somebody went there and lit that place on fire. Yes.
What?
They burned down the majority of the moai heads. They put some type of a chemical on the moais and lit that on fire, which melted solid stone.
When did this happen?
That happened in October of 2022. Yeah.
Somebody went there and ruined it.
How do you get that much fuel on the island? It's hard to get there. How do you get the fuel there? Somebody manually had to go and burn all these heads. My biggest dream was to go there because those bodies, their heads are just the top of the body. There's full bodies underneath the ground that go down for meters. And their hands are holding weapons. They have technology in their hands. These things are super megalithic. And the reason why their heads are above the ground is because there was obviously a global flood, and that's a mud flow that covered these things up. There's similar heads you could find in South America.
Really?
Yes, with the body still attached. There's this link. It wasn't just isolated civilizations, that this was at one point a global civilization.
They're trying to destroy history, bro.
I think they already have.
Remember the whole concept of like fallen angels? In Lebanon and in the area of Syria is a place called Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is supposedly where some of these fallen angels in the book of Enoch came down. Now the book of Enoch, for people that don't know, was originally supposed to be a text in the Christian text, the Hebrew Christian text, but it was taken out. So the point is, these creators did something they weren't supposed to. They supposedly broke these universal cosmic laws that exist, that they're supposed to adhere to.
Which are?
Which are, creation can only happen if it's based on certain things. They violated creation by, and I hope I don't lose people with this, but they describe how they created us and we were so perfect that some of them had sex with the women. This is where we get into demi-bloodlines. But the book of Enoch predominantly says they were fallen, or they became fallen, because they slept with the daughters of men, and that's a Genesis too, and then created this abominated bloodline that was like half gods and half humans. And this is what angered, in those ancient texts I told you about, some of these gods falling out of favor with humanity and then putting us into basically hell. Creating hell here.
On Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Reptilian blood.
The book of Enoch, powerful book. Enoch was a real powerful man. Enoch is half human, half Anunnaki, according to some of the texts. Quote unquote demigod. His father was a god and his mother was a human being. He's talked about in the Bible, yet his book is not in the Bible. It was left out by accident on purpose. And the reason why is because he's talking about beings that were not from Earth, that came here from up above and engaged mankind. They taught us how to build weapons, perfume, and makeup. They taught us how to make jewelry and beer and all this other crazy stuff, right? So these beings were physical, corporeal beings. They were having sex with humans. These weren't like the angels that we're thinking with the fluffy wings. These were people. I think there was a misconception in some cases as to what is an angel and what is a person based on the level of technology and the consciousness of those beings. They deified some of these people even though they weren't deifiable. They were just people with more advanced knowledge. These beings that came to visit gave him an appointed date that he would be taken away from Earth. He then describes the shape of the Earth, the size, the color, everything from space, a gigantic blue glowing sphere. He came back with some advanced knowledge and understanding about construction techniques. All of a sudden, this guy understands and knows how to build megalithic structures. Who taught him this information? Wherever he went, he became a student, and they brought him back and he had this knowledge and this wisdom.
What else did they leave out the Bible?
A lot, Ted. A lot.
I've heard from people in the Pentagon that the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow! Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword in
the Pentagon, in the military circles that are in the know about the cover up here, they kind of in whisper tones talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
Well, could be.
Under the ancient names.
Do you think that has anything to do with why
we left Afghanistan?
They're coming back, bro.
I can't imagine they're going to be impressed.
1920 is when everything pretty much changed. They started changing every single thing. They started removing certain parts of the history. They started rewriting the history. 1920s is about that time. Educational system started changing everything. Rockefeller educational system. So if you find books, you want to find books before 1920s. Because if you don't find books before 1920s, you're usually being told a bunch of nonsense. And you look at a lot of the free energy books too, and everything related to the ether, that's before 1920s. The ether was removed from the periodic table after 1908.
Huh.
Every book you look into, it talks about ether and terrestrial magnetism and all of these things. 1908, that was removed off the periodic table. And that was removed so that people would not believe in the ether. They would think it's woo-woo. They would think it's pseudoscience. Those are all terms of the Rockefeller educational system. Coming up with terms to debunk the truth and debunk what we were once connected to. Then when you get rid of ether, you get rid of everything related to the fifth element and the quantum. You get rid of all of that. And then you make up a whole new narrative and you remove all that so that when you can't explain something, you just say, I don't know what it is.
Why would they remove it from a periodic table?
They don't want you to know the truth, bro.
You can take the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. They branched from the Orsini family. The Orsini family, Pepe Orsini is the Grey Pope, the one that controls the black and the white one, real puppet master behind the scenes.
Yep.
They're the head of the 13 bloodlines, I believe, that control essentially everything. But the Orsinis, they come from the Julio-Claudian dynasty, which just happens to be the first 5 Roman emperors, including Nero and all the ones that persecuted Christians, and Tiberius, who was the second Roman emperor, who had Pontius Pilate as his governor, and the ones that ordered the execution of Christ. And you can also then trace them through their own words. The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Orsinis, they all claim themselves. They can trace their lineage back to Nimrod, to Babylon, and we knew what deities and gods they were worshipping in Babylon, the deities of Ishtar and Moloch. And the fact that those bloodlines somehow survived for what, 7,000 years?
They are the true puppet masters.
What's a puppet?
Yeah, don't worry, Ted.
And then if you have something called a jed, it looks like a Tesla coil, and it's all over Egypt. Everywhere you look in hieroglyphs, it's everywhere. And they have cables coming out of them, electric cables. They were connected to their electroplating devices, light bulbs. Anything that needed electricity was connected to the jed. The jed would capture the ambient electricity from the obelisk. The obelisk were like electric wire poles in your neighborhood, basically, but just doing it all wirelessly. And by that method, they were able to transmit the wireless energy all around the region. And the jeds would capture that energy and they can power whatever they wanted. Now, what's also interesting about the Great Pyramid, a small amount of that water would be pushed up into the pyramid and down into the Queen's Chamber. Now, the Queen's Chamber, when you analyze it and look at the x-rays of it, you discover something interesting. It operates like an electrolysis machine. Why electrolysis? If you use electrolysis with running water, you can extract the hydrogen atoms out of the water, which is what we do in different types of engines that we have right now. The Navy has a ship that never has to come back for gas because it just takes the water from the ocean, extracts the hydrogen atoms, and pushes it into a chamber for engine combustion, and they run on hydrogen. They don't run on gas anymore.
Hydrogen is the future.
And the past.
I'm not sure this is real, Ted.
It's real, bro.
Maybe it was real.
You don't know what's down there.
3 strangest cults. Number 1, Aetherius Society. This cult was founded in the mid-1950s by former taxi driver George King. It originated when King claimed to have been contacted by extraterrestrial intelligences, which he referred to as cosmic masters, and believed that they control the fate of humanity. Number 2, Realism. This cult was founded in 1974 by French race car driver Claude Vorilhon. They teach that an alien race known as the Elohim created humans using their advanced technology. In the late 90s, they founded a cloning company and they claimed to have cloned a human in 2000.
Fuck.
Yeah, bro.
Number 3, Freedomites. This cult was founded in 1902 by Saskatchewan after a splitting of different religious groups who fled Russia to escape persecution. They insist on 3 different things: communal living, nudity, and anarchy. They burned and bombed a whole slew of buildings while naked to show their disdain for the government.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, bro, let's join.
Well, I guess it's time to talk about Tartaria again. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Seen a couple posts lately saying, "Oh, Tartaria's not real, dude." Which I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying allegedly it could be real. For example, the flags of all nations. This was way back in the 1800s, I think, up to like 1860, I believe it was. Look right there.
Oh, snap.
Tartary. There's an old school globe, Tartaria. The globe right now at Ross. Look, Tartaria. So it's right there on the Great Wall is on the border, of China right there. Well, allegedly, where the guys stand to shoot the arrows, they're shooting it like into China and not into the enemies.
What?
So they're saying that the way the wall was built, the Chinese really built it, it's built backwards. It's all alleged.
The fuck?
Declassified CIA document created in 1957. For example, on 9th of August 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party sitting in Moscow issued a directive ordering the party's Tartar Committee to proceed in a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of a nationalistic character. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten, let us be frank, to be falsified in order to eliminate references to Great Russian aggression and hide the facts of the real course of Tartar-Russian relations. Remember a while back, Putin had declassified the Tartarian documents and history and stuff, or allegedly. So what do y'all think about this?
It's pretty crazy, Ted.
Tartaria's real, bro.
You see, the Vatican is its own private kingdom. They create their own rules and regulations, and they can change a law or a rule tomorrow or in 5 minutes, and then everyone will have to abide by that. In the archives at the Vatican, first of all, it's about 5 miles of archives underground. Very, very secure access. In other words, you can't just go, I'm going to go check out the archives underground. No, you have to be almost top secret cleared based on their standards to get down there. But they have in there so many incredible discoveries, so much knowledge and wisdom that have been stolen, literally stolen from all around the world. According to even some Jesuits, are bones of actual quote-unquote alien beings, information about advanced beings that visited this planet, the Anunnaki. They have information even out of Iraq that shows and proves that advanced races had lived on this planet long before this current civilization here exists. I'm talking about eons and eons ago, super highly advanced, that existed. All that information is stored underneath the Vatican archives, and they siphon it away, and they're hoarding all of that wisdom and knowledge so that they can keep controlling power and domination over the world. And guess what? It's working.
One day you'll know the truth.
Not if Pepe's got anything to do with it.
History is so much different than we've been taught. There was once a civilization that was wiped out because it threatened the profits of the oil industry. The Tartarian Empire was a society where they had discovered ancient knowledge about farming atmospheric energy. They incorporated special coils into all of their architecture, and their entire society was powered for free.
Right.
They had also discovered how to manipulate frequencies and move objects, which allowed them to build beautiful architecture. This is the same technology that the ancients used to build the pyramids. This society was far better than what we have today, as free energy allowed for people to focus less on work and more on creating a strong society. These people flourished for years until they tried to spread their technology. The oil oligarchs recognized that free energy threatened the profits they could make from oil. For years, they slowly destroyed the society and rewrote history as if they never existed. This technology was hidden and is now likely located in the Vatican archives, along with tons of other advanced knowledge.
Architecture does seem to be moving backwards.
Mud flood, bro.
This is interesting. We've all been schooled to believe the Great Pyramid of Giza is the heavyweight champion of ancient marvels. But brace yourselves, because Bosnia is throwing a curveball that's rewriting the playbook. Yes, Bosnia. There's a hill there that's not just any hill, it's a pyramid, and not just any pyramid. This one's precision in aligning with the cardinal points puts Giza to shame. But wait, there's more. Archaeologists are digging into this Bosnian enigma, and what they're uncovering is straight up mind-blowing. We're talking about a structure that could be over 30,000 years old. predating what we thought was the dawn of civilization. Around this pyramid, other hills, likely part of a massive complex, suggesting an ancient society so advanced, it's like nothing we've ever seen. Skeptics are calling foul, saying it's all a coincidence, but the mounting evidence is too compelling to ignore. So here we are, on the verge of possibly one of the greatest discoveries in human history, challenging everything we thought we knew. Bosnia is not just giving us a hill, it's offering a whole new chapter of...
Finding more pyramids won't help until you figure out how to turn one on.
They'll get there, bro.
Alcohol means body-eating spirit, al-Kul in Arabic, hence why vodka is called spirits. Jinn is a jinn, which are invisible creatures in early religions. This is where jinx comes from. When you jinx something, it means bad luck, because the spiritual planes is what they are hiding from you. They want you to believe everything is just physical. Jay-Z's alcohol brand has a Knight Templar symbol called the Cross of Lorraine, which is one of the highest orders of Freemasonry. Alcohol destroys the connection between your oversoul and your physical body by destroying brain cells, which then makes you more vulnerable for demons to enter your electromagnetic field and take control. Society is being ran by an ancient dark cult which uses black magic and the dark usage of alcohol. Why do you think these are legal and this is legal?
Alcohol is the root of all evil. God damn, Ted.
Yeah, don't drink, yo.
LSD in the 60s played a very, very significant role in the awakening of consciousness and the shifting of realities of this society. It's permeated every corner of the society now. There's not one corner it hasn't touched. Not that everybody had to turn on. That wasn't necessary at all. In fact, it's almost an anachronism now. But at the time, it took a overloaded, one single value system, monolithic value system, which was liberal intellectual material cynicism, in which the universities were the high priests and the scientists. And it took that and it put that into perspective as just another reality, okay? And the rock and roll movement took it through their own consciousness and filled the culture with it through the teenagers who then grew up and they can look as straight as they want as far as I'm concerned. This is like a Martian takeover. It has nothing to do with the forms people are in. People can be doctors and lawyers and radio engineers. They can be everything as far as I'm concerned. It has nothing to do with it. The consciousness shift occurred and they're right here and we can meet each other and I'd say, well, that's a good, the concept of trip or game or just roll. All these things have a lightness about them. They're getting people to see that who they are isn't their trips.
Magic mushrooms are the missing link in the evolution of human intelligence.
It was the Anunnaki, bro. The mushrooms are dope.
You put a transparency over the window, then move the camera of the Earth, and move the camera back away from the window. Turn off the lights in the spacecraft, and appeared to be halfway to the moon when in fact they were in Earth orbit. Huh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, and they said it was the same way that you did it on Apollo 10. So we wanted to give you the opportunity to put your left hand on the Bible, to raise your right hand, to swear to God.
Stick it in your ear.
You walked on the moon. We're giving you the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you so you don't leave me alone.
Let him go.
Found a very unique reel of footage that we have queued up to show you.
Yeah.
And it's from the mission. And to our knowledge, no one has ever seen it before. And it's 30 years old.
And you want me to see this while you have me on camera?
Well, and to tell us what it is.
No,
that's correct. And you'll see this tape.
Okay, well, I'm not interested in satisfying your suppositions when there's all this evidence that we did.
This truly was all saved. Using the window to demonstrate that you were halfway to the moon when you
turn the camera off, please. Turn the camera off.
Through the upper windows. That's full of shit.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator and ask him? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Damn, that guy wasn't f***ing around.
He's a hero, bro.
didn't have a turn radius that we would expect. It didn't have a period to accelerate and decelerate. It just seemed to zip so quickly that it was, again, really disorienting, really confusing.
More UFOs, Ted.
David said it was a WTF moment.
Yeah. Oh, there were definitely some WTFs on the radio.
Not in a scare way, but like, what the is that? Like we're seeing something for the first time.
You know, some people go, what is that? And they run. And then some people see it and what is that? And they're curious. They want to get closer and closer. I wanted to get closer, see what it was.
My lead, Commander David Shaver, he says I'm in, which means that he's engaging with this thing.
We're going around, we get to about the 12 o'clock position, and this thing's still pointing north-south. The tic-tac goes and turns and starts coming up. So now it's mirroring me. Whatever it was aware that we were there. And as I come up, I can see him as he's crossing in front of me. It starts to accelerate and gets right on my nose and disappears. For something to come off the surface of the ocean like it was moving around, to be able to just accelerate to match my speed, and then to rapidly go away, we do not possess that technology.
I'm not sure about that one, Ted.
They're out there, bro.
Have you heard about the experiments of them being able to call UFOs on demand? Bro, this is fucking crazy, bro. Yo, so back in the day, like during like World War II, Russian and American scientists were having trouble with UFOs lingering around their bases, right? So they devised this plan. They said, we see them very consistently, but only around when we're conducting our nuclear drills. So they conducted a plan, and they decided to summon the UFO by conducting a nuclear drill. Almost every single time, consistently, they were able to generate the phenomenon or the landing of a UFO. So it's fucking crazy. They use that information to target against one of these days. They use that huge institution. It's like a large radio gun, a huge high frequency machine. And one day, supposedly, they called down this UFO by conducting a nuclear drill, and they shot at it with the electromagnetic gun. So apparently they have this in like, you know, the North or the South Pole, and they've been shooting down UFOs with this radio gun or whatever it is and taking their technology.
But definitely don't sound like a good idea.
They're crazy, bro.
Have you seen NASA's cloud machine? That's right, NASA has a machine that makes clouds. Clouds that make rainbows, clouds that even rain. And they've got a new technology that even surpasses the cloud machine, the digital cloud machine. This new patented technology will actually scan the clouds and be able to copy them in real time. And we've got a look from one of our satellites showing some of these clouds that we've actually scanned and copied in real time. Can you see the ones that were developed through our new technology? Let's take a closer look. As you can see, cloud number 1 was actually scanned and copied exactly, and we can get that view from our satellites. And there's more, but I'm going to leave it up to you to find those. I agree, this technology is awesome, but sometimes you're in a hurry and you got to make clouds a lot faster. So keep an eye out. Look at the skies and maybe you'll see some of these copied clouds.
It's Photoshop, bro.
No shit, Ted.
The world's not even a globe.
All the ancient cultures from the beginning of time have depicted a flat kind of enclosed earth.
Fuck's sake, Ted.
So we have this flat earth cosmology all the way up into the 1900s when a big push was made to live on this round spinning ball flying around the sun. They are basically placing us on a speck of dust flying through infinite space where it was made from this accidental Big Bang. And we really don't mean very much, and everything is kind of an accident, and it kind of leads you into this mentality where things are meaningless. It doesn't matter what you do in life, but the more you research, the more you'll find that you can't prove the spinning ball Earth unless you're suffering from cognitive dissonance and you've been programmed your entire life. All scientific experiments show that we're being lied to about what mainstream science is saying about the Earth.
Ted, watch the documentary Behind the Curve.
Fuck behind the curve, bro.
Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know the Earth is flat.
Seriously? Astrology and flat Earth or true Earth are symbiotic. You cannot have one without the other. If you have a ball and you are spinning, flying through space, chasing this fireball, your constellations would change every now. And our constellations have never changed. The stars have never changed. We have the same 12 zodiac signs that we had back in the Dendera stones in Egypt over 5,000 years ago. We're not moving. Every single ancient society knew this. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Hindus, the Egyptians, every single ancient culture knew that we live in a geocentric universe, not a heliocentric where we are spinning, chasing this ball of fire while all of these other planets are rotating around us, while all of these other stars are rotating. If that was the case, Polaris would move, number one, which is the North Star, and it doesn't. Number two, all of the constellations would not rotate solely around Polaris, but they do. Therefore, we are the center of the universe. Believing in the Big Bang Theory is something that is very common today. Where people think, we're the product of an accident and that, we don't have a creator. We're just here to consume and live our best life and not live up to our potential. But if you're the center of the universe, that means that you're very special. That means that you have a creator who is very conscious and cares about you. And when you see yourself as being watched by these heavenly bodies above you 24/7, you start to take your life a little bit more seriously.
Why did that seem to make sense?
I told you it's flat, bro.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.